Hey everybody, it's
So,
Kevin and it's Blair from RPH Ally. It is a super exciting day because we are launching a brand new channel. We've got more channels to come your guys' way. We've already got, what is it, 20 something now, Blair? We got an entire team of incredible thought leaders. Blair's
it
one
is
of them, and he's going
amazing.
to tell you more about the cannabis world. His background is absolutely incredible, and I'm really excited to be able to bring him to you guys because we really need to own another space, and that is the cannabis world. I'm going to hit the reel, and we're going to jump into introductions with Blair, and you guys get to hear all about this new awesome channel.
There we go.
Blair, I'm super excited to have you, buddy. It feels like we've been talking for, gosh, how many months has it been? Just kind of in the works. You've had so many things going on. Now we're launching.
Yeah, it's about 5 months or so. It's been quite of a whirlwind here.
I'm so
But yeah,
excited, bud.
I'm
So,
very
folks,
happy to be here at this point.
so for folks that don't know you, Blair, like your background's incredible, man. Give us a little bit of the background of kind of where you've been throughout your career journey and why this channel makes so much sense for you to put together.
Yeah, I've been all over the place. But background, essentially, before pharmacy school, I was a chemist for 7, 8 years, implementing stuff. We conducted a patent, got that approved, able to do a product launch. So I got experience at least on that end. But then I got into pharmacy school. Things kind of changed up. In 2011, the pharmacy world was starting to change, especially at that time. But then cannabis became legal in Colorado and Washington. And this was definitely the start of the medicine coming in, the stigma kind of going away, even though it's still prevalent. But yeah, there's a lot of development within this medicine. There's still a lot more to unravel. This plant can provide quite a few things to help alleviate patients and improve their quality of life. So I'm really happy to be here. Uh, there's a lot of products on the market that shouldn't be there. So I've also been building up uh, a team of chemists, laboratory people, specialists within the cannabis space, and we're building all this stuff together to really ensure safety, patient safety, consumer safety on this end. And a lot of education is kind of lacking in that area. So I'm bringing a different perspective from the pharmacist in treating the patients and what to be aware of within this emerging market. Oh, is your microphone muted?
So
There we go.
with that, Blair, if you couldn't hear me on that, I said, so chemistry background, PhD, on top of being a pharmacist, working with
Yeah,
products and getting them launched into market, and then safety profiles, I think is incredible, like for a broad reaching background. You were telling me before, Blair, about the industry, like how it's kind of changed and morphed since 2011 and some of the issues and some of the opportunities that are there. Why do you feel like it's important for pharmacy to know more about the cannabis world and the role that they can play and to take some ownership inside of it at this juncture?
correct. So this is one avenue you could use to build up clientele rapport with your physicians in the area and become an expert within medicine. Let them know that you are much more knowledgeable than counting by 5 or 10 or 15. This is another revenue stream to become knowledgeable on. It is known to reduce the amount of opioids or other pain meds that the patients are on. So if you can do that and incorporate this and improve a patient's quality of life, this is definitely an avenue to bring in more income, more revenue, and build up your business and personal brand.
Wow. So tell folks then inside of the channel, Blair, like what are we going to learn? Like as pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, pharmacy world would be interested in going. I want to learn more from Blair. Sounds like he has a really good beat on what's happening in this cannabis world, how I can leverage it for my career, etc. What are the details? Like, what are we going to learn when we get into this channel and become a member of the cannabis channel on RPH Ally?
Yeah, correct. So one thing you have to know where it comes from, what is the plant, what's in there, and how does it become to a final consumer product or for what you're going to dispense to your patient. So you have to know that process because it is essentially the Wild West. When we have these other medications that we dispense out, FDA approved, they've gone through a whole rigmarole of testing and verification. But again, just like all these manufacturers that produce this medicine, just because they have a driver's license and everything else doesn't mean that they're going to behave on the road. I mean, we see plenty of people that just have no regard to rules or laws. So it's
Right.
kind of the same thing where you got to keep out, a watchdog of this industry to make sure everything's going to be okay. And there's quite a few people out there, and we're working together to accommodate this and educate more people. So what you're going to see is basically the background of cannabis, where it's been, where it's going, who's involved, what's going on internationally in other like Europe or Australia or anything else. But then you're also going to find people that are developing applications and how to build out your brands that have been involved in this business for at least 10 years. So you're going to see a lot of experience from the pharmacist perspective, because there are now 8 or 9 states where pharmacists are directly dispensing cannabis to patients. And so this is going to probably grow as the legalization or how FDA views cannabis.
So interesting, Blair, because it's such an odd spot I've been put in throughout my career, Blair, and I'm sure a lot of people can kind of feel this, that I've had times where recreational cannabis use has found me in the hospital, right? I have a patient that comes in, they're using cannabis on a recreational basis, non-prescribed, to be able to control something as serious as seizures. And so now for me, there's a large knowledge gap on what are the drugs, what is the plant, how is it being utilized, what form is it coming in, then how do I apply it from a pharmacy standpoint, from a medication therapy management standpoint. But then also the other piece that you're really mentioning is the advocacy piece, so that we can not only educate ourselves on here's the different components that are inside of this plant that we have to be aware of and how they affect our patients, but also this is how our patients can procure these things, because instead of prescription medicines that has a level of control, they're getting them from individual pharmacies, and you have the ability to kind of recognize the control and command of those things going from manufacturers to wholesalers to locations of dispensing. Cannabis is
Right.
different. So you're going to educate us on that too?
Correct. That's right. So, I mean, drug interactions. There's a whole slew of things that are going on. There's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know about. For instance, I'll go into detail of how the THC actually decreases your or increases the pH of your stomach acid. So, with PPIs and such, there's a lot of drug interactions. Same thing can happen with edibles. So
Wow. No,
we'll just start from there.
I'm super excited, Blair. I think just, pharmacy in general, like we're always so interested in going, we want to become experts. And I feel like this is one we've let slip. I mean, I'm not trying to be cruel, to our profession, but that we've let it kind of slip, and that's someone else's domain. And I'm so excited that you want us to own it, Blair, and kind of bring it to the pharmacy world and say, no, this is another medicine that we have to become experts in, because people are looking to it for various therapies in various ways. So why was this the right time, Blair, for you to want to go, I want this to be part of our PH Ally?
Yeah, I mean, it was on the USP for from 1850 up until about 1937. So essentially, from the time that it was out, 1850, 1937 is such, what, 87 years, something like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
been roughly the same amount of time until now, from 1937, that cannabis has been out of the picture. So we have essentially an entire lifetime that we have lost, and now is a good time to recapture it. The market is still emerging, and this is medicine. Whether you like it or not, it is medicine. It is the synthetics that are out there that should have an IND, that should be going through clinical trials,
Mm-hmm.
that should be going through FDA approval or so, that should not be on the market. And that is the major concerns that we're going after right now, is to get that stuff off, educate the people of what it is, and really how to kind of stay away from it. Because just because what it says on the package doesn't mean what's really inside it.
Wow. Yeah, you touch on so many things, Blair. Honestly, like it's an exciting subject for me, like to learn from you on, especially going, I don't care if you're in retail pharmacy, ambulatory pharmacy, you're working inside of industry, you're in a hospital setting. Like You need to know this because it's becoming part of your patients' lives, regardless of where you're seeing them, and to be able to help them and treat them appropriately. And the fact that you're bringing not only the clinical knowledge for people to apply, but also the business components, that you're talking about, and the industry pieces to understand and get your not only foot in the door, but know if you're sticking your foot in the right door in the first place.
There you
Because
go.
so tell me this, Blair, for I guess for the listeners that are kind of there and they're going, wow, this sounds interesting. I've always wanted to know more about cannabis, feel like I have some more expertise kind of in the space in general. When they come onto the channel and they're just trying to get to know Blair and they want to know more about the program, what are the kind of questions you want them to start asking inside the space and how you want it to be? I mean, because I know you just as a human being, you want it to be interactive and it want to be a good learning experience. So what are the things that they should be thinking about and bringing to the table inside of the channel so you can really start pushing, the profession forward inside of this space?
Sure. What I want you to kind of bring into this, whether you know it or not, but prepare for this is to see what things I should be asking the patients of what disease states, because depending on which disease state they have, they're going to probably be directed more toward the CBD side rather than THC or anything. So you have to know the patient, you have to know the disease state. So when you start bringing it from that clinical perspective and trying to treat the patient, those are the kind of questions I want you to bring in so we can clarify and make sure I have you understanding this and you feel empowered by all this knowledge and you feel very comfortable talking to your patient base and your physicians.
Wow. Yeah. And I think I would be remiss if one of my last questions wasn't this, Blair, in terms of you're such an expert on like the legal statuses of individual states. Like, I think that's important for folks to know. Like I'm in Washington, right? So when it comes to like the progress of cannabis utilization, probably one of the most progressive states, in the US. But you've worked in several states throughout the United States and have seen the way that they've progressed their laws and structures of utilizing these drugs. And so it is not limited to just the few states that are using cannabis recreationally or have legalized it. It's really the broad stretch of, is it utilized in a synthetic? Is it a CBD that's been, FDA approved, so to speak? What is the drug again that the seizure medication, Blair?
Epidiolex. That's pretty much what's on the market right now specifically
Yeah.
for that.
And so all of those pieces play into care that we just need to have a better idea of. And I guess the one thing that is just, it hits me kind of at the heart is, it doesn't matter if it is legal in your state or not, your patients are still utilizing it. Like, that has been shown. Use of cannabis is going up because of the legalization in multiple other states. You might feel in your state that, hey, it's not legal. Well, guess what? Kevin was a pharmacy director and had "it is not legal" meet me right in the face when I was seeing a patient saying, I'm using this to control my seizures. And I'm going, oh no, my physicians, they are going to say this is a C1 drug. I will not prescribe this or allow it inside the facility. What do I do next? And now I've got a guy named Blair to be able to help me out with that.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of few changes. Even here in the state that I live in right now is Georgia, and they put out new changes on the Board of Pharmacy to where, the patients are coming in, even though here technically in Georgia, we don't have a manufacturer or processor or actual products on the market just yet. But the law since 2000 has been on the books saying you can bring it in from another state. You can use it here as long as you got the card. It's kind of the situations like that. So if you're in the hospital, you're protected. You can have the medicine, and they can dispense the medicine there as well. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, there's so much to learn from you, Blair. Any parting words for our audience, buddy, when it comes to joining the channel and kind of understanding the space?
Yeah, if you're having products that seem questionable or anything like that, please reach out to me because we're building out this database. We're trying to get some things done, and so just be in contact. We would love to know what's going on in your neck of the area.
Amazing. Yeah. So everybody, I'm super excited for Blair to be on board. Like, obviously you guys can see that the education piece I feel is imperative to pharmacy, regardless where you're at. But the other piece that Blair is bringing to the team is being part of our advocacy team and saying like, hey, this is how we're advocating for the space to keep it safe, keep it effective, and keep it in the hands of pharmacy, so that we can take care of our patients the way we need to. So Blair, thank you so much, buddy. Folks, go on over to RPH Ally, rphally.com, join, become a member, make sure you have your license and everything so we can validate you and bring you into the space, and then be as active as you want to be. We really love your guys' questions. We've got folks like Blair that are experts in all kinds of things to be able to lead along the way. And if you're doing things similar to Blair, like if you are a CBD expert, a cannabis expert, come on into the channel. We'd love to hear from you, to be able to collaborate with you, to hear about the things that you're doing. So come on board. There's always room, and we always want you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today, Kevin.
Awesome. Everybody have a wonderful rest of the day, and we will see you over at RPH Ally soon.
All right. Cheers.